which leads me into my favorite segment this week in Shohei Ohtani news presented by Mattress Firm. So talk to an expert and unjunk your sleep today. But let's get into it with my favorite segment this week in Shohei Ohtani news. We're going to talk about an underrated part of his game, his speed. We're going to talk about a dominant pitching performance, and we're going to talk about a quote that he had that's going to hold a lot of weight in the Angels' future. Let's get into it, and let's talk about his speed. This past week, he had two RBI triples for the Angels in the same game that now tie him for second in all of baseball in triples. We talk about his pitching a lot. We talk about his hitting a lot. But his speed is so underrated. It really is. We had Joe Musgrove on the show just a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about facing him. And one thing he said that stuck with me is, look, one thing that's not talked about a ton is how fast he is. This guy's huge, and he's like a freight train coming down the line. You don't even hear him, and then he's just there. Shohei's a big human being, but he is so fast. He has 24 stolen bases on the season, tied for the second most triples in all of the league. Look, I've talked about how many times he's getting walked lately. He gets walked a ton. But that's going to cut down soon. One, because he's going to get more protection. But two, just because of how fast he is. All the stolen bases he's getting. Walks are going to turn into doubles for him. They really are. Walks are starting to turn into doubles. Just because he has 24 on the year, he could have way more. He has elite speed. Look at this tweet. Players with 45-plus home runs, 20-plus stolen bases, and 6-plus triples in a season. Shohei Ohtani this year and Willie Mays in 1955. Willie Mays and Shohei Ohtani. That's it. 45-plus homers, 20-plus stolen bases, and 6-plus triples. It's remarkable. But he really is walking at a crazy clip. And I called this, unfortunately, at the All-Star break. I said, I want him to continue and lead the league in homers, but I don't know if he's going to get pitched to enough. And he really hasn't. He's been walking at a crazy level. Check out this tweet. In the last 50 years, the only MLB players with 10-plus walks in a 3-game span are Shohei Ohtani, Bryce Harper, and Barry Bonds. 10-plus walks in a 3-game span. 10-plus walks in a 3-game span. Nobody is pitching to him at this point. You watch their games, it's just like people are going to watch Shohei, and he's just walking. But yeah, it really is a big part that we're not talking about. Look, when you talk about how many times he's getting on base, how many times he's walking, he's in the same conversation as Barry Bonds. When you talk about how well he's hitting, he's in the same conversation as Babe Ruth. And when you talk about how fast he is, he's in the same conversation as Willie Mays. Every part of his game is elite. Think about if he decided to focus on one single particular thing and do it. He already is one of the best of all time, and this season's incredible. But if people make careers out of stealing bases, and he's doing that as well as anybody. People make careers out of getting on base, and he's walking as much in a span as Barry Bonds. Like, it is incredible. He's also in elite categories when it comes to his pitching, when it comes to how well he's pitching. And he did it all again this past week in a big game for the Seattle Mariners, a big matchup for them. They come out ready to rock and roll. He comes out in what could be his final start of the season. He may end up getting one more, maybe, and it might be on the last day of the year. But this may have been his last start of the year, definitely his last start at home. He threw 7 innings, he struck out 10, and he threw 112 pitches. Career high, 112 pitches. Just another dominant outing against a good baseball team that is honestly all or nothing at this point. But dominant. He has been dominant on the mound this year, and at home, unbeatable. He's almost unbeatable. He's almost unbeatable when he's on the mound, which is crazy to think about. He's had 23 starts this year. 23 starts on the mound. He's lost 2 of them. Think about that. 23 starts on the mound. 2 of them are losses. Remarkable. Honestly, truly incredible. Speed, hitting, walking, pitching. He's doing it all. Another pitching stat. Shohei Ohtani is the first Angels pitcher to reach 150 strikeouts in a season since Andrew Heaney in 2018. He's punching guys out. A big thing for me with him on the mound is he really cut down on the walks. That's been the difference for him on the mound, is he's cut down on the walks. The strikeouts have stayed the same. The splitter is the best pitch we've seen in baseball since he's come into the league. Truly remarkable. Truly remarkable. So in my opinion, honestly, it's not even my opinion. There's a stat we showed previously of all the pitchers that have thrown of all the pitches that have been thrown at least 400 times by everyone that has been in the league since Ohtani joined. His splitter is the best pitch in all of baseball. Remarkable. Truly remarkable. So we've talked about his speed, how many times he's walking, all the stolen bases, his pitching. Look, I said this from the beginning of the year. Shohei Ohtani is the MVP. Shohei Ohtani is the MVP of this league, without a doubt in my mind. But he was already named the MVP of the Angels this year, the team MVP for the Los Angeles Angels, as well as the Nick Adenhart Award winner, which is the pitcher of the year. So for the Angels, he was named the team MVP and the pitcher of the year. This is what and this isn't a brag, we're talking about high school here. This is the award I would get in high school. With best pitcher and hitter. It's a high school, like the best player on the team wins that in high school. People don't do that at the big league level. 22 pitchings, he's 9-2 with a 3.28 ERA, 45 home runs, 24 stolen bases, 75 extra base hits, 96 runs scored, 95 RBIs. He could very well get to 100 RBIs if he has a good last week of the year. Angels team MVP and pitcher of the year. Look, incredible. And they're not winning. They're not winning games. As incredible as this is, the Angels aren't winning. And that's a problem. A problem that Shohei actually spoke up about. Look, I love the Angels. I want to be here. But most importantly, I want to win. Now, he's under contract through 2023. So 2 more years remaining. But his quote, I really like the team. I love the fans and the atmosphere as a team. But more than that, I want to win. That's the biggest thing for me. I'll leave it at that. That's a pretty powerful statement. That's a pretty powerful statement. Mike Trout also spoke up. Joe Madden also spoke up. Trout said, hopefully we go out there and get some big guys. Hopefully we go get some big guys. That's Mike Trout, the best player the game has seen in a long time. Hopefully we go get some big guys. The manager, Joe Madden, this can't continue to go on. The Angels can't afford to wait to win. They can't afford to wait to win. Why? Because you have Mike Trout, you have Shohei Ohtani, who's having arguably the greatest season we've ever seen, who's under contract for 2 more years. You don't have but so much more wiggle room. The Albert Pujols contract, gone, off the books. Make something happen. Go get some pitching. Go get some pitching other than Shohei Ohtani. The offense is there. In my opinion, you have 2 years to figure this out, or you're going to lose a once-in-a-lifetime talent. And you don't want to do that, to say the least. You don't want to do that. But you could lose him. I love that he stepped up here and said, look, above all else, I want to win. I love the fans. I love everything to do with the Angels. I want to stay here. But above that, above all of that, I want to win. And they have next year and the following to figure it out. Because you have this year's MVP. You have a guy that was hurt this year that is an MVP every time he steps on the field. You have those guys. Win while you have them. It's frustrating as a fan of baseball to not see them winning. I'm so happy to see Shohei speaking up and saying, it's time to win. The three biggest guys there, Shohei, Mike Trout, Joe Madden, all speaking up saying it's time. Their GM has said, you know what, we're going to spend some money this offseason. We're going to go get some guys. And that's what they're going to do. Shohei deserves it. Mike Trout deserves it. The Angels fans deserve it. And I can't wait to see what they do. Because Shohei Ohtani is a once-in-a-lifetime talent that is going to be this year's MVP. He is already the Angels team MVP, already the Angels pitcher of the year. Just an incredible season and another incredible week for Shohei Ohtani. And that does it for this week in Shohei Ohtani news. Thanks for watching. If you love flipping bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.